Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison, a man who refused to give up. What did he say? Genius was 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. And again, he went through, I think it was over 2,000 combinations to find the type of filament that would work in a light bulb. I mean, again, this was a man with no technical training. He was not a scientist. He was an inventor, and he was dedicated to doing great things. And I want to encourage you, no matter where you are in your walk in life, you don't have to be a PhD in economics and statistics. You don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to have multiple degrees. You just have to practice, my friends. I want you to practice with us every day. Read all the books you can find. Do all the things you can do to garner and gain the knowledge, to be able to follow price movement. That is all this comes down to. Is the price going up or down? How do you master it? You practice every single day. We have trade worksheets, daily market worksheets, weekly market worksheets. I want you to check those out in the show notes. Print those out. Fill out the daily market worksheet every day. Think about what you're seeing. Make sure that once a week in particular, you fill out, when we do the comprehensive review and forecast that we'll do at the close of the market every Friday, tomorrow we'll do it. Fill that out. When you get a chance to do practice trades, fill out the trade worksheet. Again, you're going to learn so much more by writing things down. When you listen to the training videos, write notes, pay attention, underline, circle things, go back, review those things. You know we've compiled all of our trade worksheets, our daily market worksheets and weekly market worksheets in a spiral-bound, handy 3-month edition. You can get those as a discount if you buy a year's supply of them. Look for the link in the show notes. You'll see it the same place where we have the book, Charting Your Way to Wealth, for sale. And again, let's now continue to keep the faith, continue to practice, and remember Thomas Edison's words. Do not be one of life's failures. Do not give up when you were close to success. Keep striving forward. Determine you're going to do it. And I truly believe God has given us the gift to do whatever we put our minds to. But you got to stick with it. Okay, let's jump into these charts. 10 to 15 minutes a day is all we ask. What do we see going on with stocks? They are down for the day. Bonds are up. Gold is down just a little bit. Let's jump first into the weekly chart on the S&P 500, those 500 big international companies. What do we see? We have a red spinning top at this point. The price percent oscillator is trying to pull away, bounce off the red signal line. That's good. We don't have the derivative oscillator gaining any downward momentum yet. It's awfully darn close to going green. It hasn't gone green. We have a red spinning top, means indecision, tending down. We're still in a confirmed down move. When the candle finishes drawing, what we'll probably do is redraw our trend line so we get one we can actually maybe use a little more. That's where we are on the weekly. I hope last night, Wednesday night, you backed off and just looked at the weekly charts in the different ETFs or stocks you follow. Want you to do that. That will make your practice trading so much better if once a week, midweek, you back off. And we've got that great training we put out recently on that. I think we did on Tuesday. Back off and take a look at what's really going on. We also have a great training for you, those who subscribe at chartingwealth.com for free to our newsletter. Great training on, it's on vertical crossovers, how to make killer virtual profits, something like that. But anyway, want you to get that training. If you've signed up at the website, put in your name, email address. That'll be in your show notes today. So again, take that training. We've got a second one on crossovers we'll put out on Friday. But that's where we are on the weekly chart on the S&P 500. Let's go to the 2-day chart. We just finished drawing the latest candle. It's nice to see we hit a lower low. Good. we hit, and we also have the candle body lower than the prior candle body, the latest one representing Wednesday the 25th, Thursday the 26th. Don't have a crossover going down yet. That has not occurred, so we're still waiting to see if indeed that's going to occur. If that does, that of course will give us the opportunity to jump into a practice trade. What do we see going on the 4-hour chart? Spinning tops in the morning and the afternoon, red ones. That means indecision tending down, and again, down for the day, 0.21%. Going to go from the S&P, which is still waiting for that 2-day chart to potentially cross over, going down. What do we see? Let's see, we do see a better option here on the Qs. The Qs has a red spinning top, long wick on the bottom, bit of a wick on top. It is pulling much further away from the red signal line than the S&P 500 is on the price percent oscillator on the weekly chart. And we can see that the derivative oscillator is still negative, but it isn't gaining downward momentum at this point. We go from the weekly to the 2-day, and at the end of the day, we just barely had a 2-day crossover going down. Bigger candle heading down, bigger wick. That's good to see. Any of you look to jump in at about 355 going down on a practice trade? The number I found was 189.56. Now again, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, why would anyone practice trade a down move, buying the Qs on a down move? We're not. We're talking about just following an inverse. Now the inverse, of course, of the Qs, and you can sure do a practice trade on this, PSQ, is the ProShares QQQ short. It, of course, goes up because it's a short fund, means moves in the opposite direction of the Qs. But we saw we just barely had a crossover on that 2-day chart. Derivative oscillators still positive, but we did end with a crossover. So again, I'm tracking that. The buying point for the practice trade was 189.56. That is on QQQ, and we will track that and see how well that does. Now, remember, PSQ is the inverse fund, so it runs inverse. It attempts to track percentage-wise. Yes, it's a different fund. It has a different number, okay, as far as the price per share goes, but it's set up to track the Qs at the same percentage each day that the Qs changes. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how well that goes for us. I'll update you on that. Don't forget, at the end of the month, we'll also do our virtual profit rundown to see how all these different charts did for the month, actually for these 9 months, 9 complete months of the year at the end of September. Also, we will have, let's see, is that going to be at the end of September? Will we have the third quarter ending? We got October, November. Yes, so it will be. It'll be at the end of the month. We'll also have another quarterly chart training and see where that shows us on the S&P 500. That'll be interesting to see. So that's where we are on the 2-day on the Qs. Let's go to the 4-hour. Really, we've got a doji in the morning, doji in the afternoon. Indecision tending down. The price percent oscillator is flat. Market really bottomed back on the afternoon of Wednesday. No, morning of Wednesday, sorry. Up a little in the afternoon, and then just sideways is what we're seeing as far as the Heikin Ashi candlesticks goes. For the record, Qs was down 0.37% for the day. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. Like we said, price percent oscillator flat. So we'll see how that 2-day chart treats us on the Qs, and if indeed that does well for us. Now remember, our traditional way of jumping in is to wait for a pullback on the Qs on the 4-hour chart and then a crossover going back down. We'll also work to play that one. We'll also practice trade that one if that does develop and give us an option to jump in. So that's where we are as we end the day looking at stocks. Next, we go back to the weekly and we move to bonds before we head into Friday. What do we see on bonds? Bonds up for the day, 0.64%. Now check this out. Still crossing over, going down. We might have a weekly vertical crossover going down in bonds. We're going to watch, see what there is to see if that works for us. It may happen at the end of the day. If it does, we're going to let you know. If you're signed up for our texting service where we text out weekly vertical crossovers, then please watch for that on your phone. If you want to sign up for it, live in the States, I'm sorry it doesn't work overseas, but we have another option for you. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Simply text to the number 33222 the word charting wealth. That's the number 33222. That's like the phone number. It's a short code. 33222. Text the word charting wealth. Just one long word. And again, if you live overseas or don't have a cell phone that gets text messages, just watch the show. Watch the comprehensive review and forecast recorded at the close of the market on Friday, and you'll then know if indeed this ends up occurring. That's a big deal if it does for us. It is weird, though, in that if it does occur, look at what the candle is. It's not a red down candle. It's actually a green up candle. So that puts us in a bit of a quandary. The price percent oscillator crossing over going down and the derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. We go to the 2-day chart. What do we see there? Well, the 2-day chart's been going up. A little bit of a pullback on this latest one, but it's not a red down candle. It's just an open box green candle with some pullback in it. That's why it turns red. We see that the derivative oscillator is losing downward momentum. Price percent oscillator is about flat, is heading down a little bit, but again, we've got 8 days really of up movement. So that is concerning. We do see it getting weaker because we didn't reach a higher high, and we have the candle within the prior candle body of the green candle. So we'll continue to watch, see what there is to see. We look at the 4-hour chart. It's still in a confirmed up move. The derivative oscillator is losing momentum. Price percent oscillator's a little greater than flat. It's actually heading up a little bit. And the candles, we've got a green spinning top basically on both of those. And again, up a little in the morning, up a little more in the afternoon. But we'll wait, see how things shake out, see how well our rules continue to work, because we are seeing downward pressure. We'll see if that's a weekly vertical crossover at the end of the week. Let's next go to gold. And last, what do we see on gold? We have a green spinning top. The way gold seems to be ending the week, and it's getting darn sure close to crossing over, going down. Wonder if that's the way we're going to end the week on gold. We see the derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. Price percent oscillator trying to cross over, going down. We'll see if that happens at the end of the week. We look at the 2-day chart. Gold was down for the day, by the way, on Thursday, 0.03%, so 0.3%, barely. We have a doji pretty much. It means lots of indecision, tending down. Since it's a red doji, price percent oscillator is dropping over, heading down, and the derivative oscillator is continuing to lose downward momentum. So very interesting. We'll just continue to see what there is to see there. We go from the 2-day to the 4-hour. It did cross over in the afternoon, going down. So again, barely down for the day as far as gold goes, 0.03%. But let's see how this weekly chart settles out on Friday. So what are we looking for, friends? First off, we're looking to see if we're going to have a weekly vertical crossover going down in gold. We'll let you know that. We're looking to see if there's a weekly vertical crossover going to be confirmed going down in TLT. We'll let you know that. We had a 2-day crossover over the course, at the end of the day on Thursday, going down. So we'll see how well that continues. We're practice trading a down move on that on just the 2-day, just to see how it works. Remember, that's something we've been working on following lately. And then lastly, we look at the S&P 500. It's trying to pull away from the red signal line, and what we're really waiting for there is to see if it's going to be confirmed with a crossover on the 2-day chart, which hasn't happened yet. That is where we are, my friends. If you haven't purchased the book, we'd love to get a copy in your hands, an autographed copy. Just simply follow the link in the show notes to purchase the book. If you live overseas and would like a copy, email us, cw@chartingwealth.com. We will send you a PayPal invoice. Pay that. We'll send your book wherever you are. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.